Welcome back, everyone, to Phil's Recap and Review. Westworld, Season 1, Episode 1, the original, the post-episode recap and review. I'm Phil, the Issues Guy. I'm going to be here today talking about Westworld, sharing my thoughts, recapping the episode a little bit, and talking about what I see or what I hope for the future of this series, good and or bad. But welcome back, everybody. If you want to reach us, there's many ways you can reach us. We have a call-in number or a text-in number at 781-990-8509. You can email me at igotissuesman@gmail.com, or you can jump in one of the best places I know out there, one of my favorite places in the world. I love it. I love all of them. The motherfucking chat. It's all the folks that may or may not be checking this out live at any point in time. But if you're checking this out later, please share your thoughts in the comment section below about what you thought about this premiere or what you think about any of the stuff I have to say. So please share all that away. You can also, as I said, text in that number. You can tweet at me at igotissuesman and ask me crazy, weird questions. And you can have me dictate your fantasies. I can turn myself into an android like Data. Star Trek reference number 1. It won't be the last one. So we're going to get all into this episode of Westworld. I get a little nervous and uncomfortable when talking about a new series, especially one that I might not always, because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm sort of a dumbass. So a new series like this is really daunting to get into, and something that seems like it's going to have such rich of a backstory and a big world with a lot of shit going on. So if I don't touch upon everything here, this won't be the last time I talk about Westworld. I don't know if we're going to do week-to-week recaps of it. Sometimes I think I will, or at least cover it at certain points during the year. It won my interest enough in what I saw in the first episode to at least inspire me to want to tune into it every week and see what the hell is going on with it. I'm really excited to see where they take this concept in the series. So if people just want a really quick thought and shut this off, go watch the series before we get into spoilers, before we get into any of that shit. There it is. I recommend it. Watch it. It's a lot of fun. So let's turn. Holy fucking shit. We've got people in the motherfucking live chat. My favorite fucking friends. Holy shit. We got JD, Sam, Mo, fucking Leo. Oh, you can't see me. I can't be seen? Now here I am. Oh, golly. Why'd I say golly there? Oh, shit. So you got the no visual intro. So what you didn't know is I was still getting dressed during the intro of that. That's right. Imagine someone that's turning that into the first time. They're like, do I just have to look at the stupid cartoon face the whole time? Welcome, everybody. It's Craft Mama. Great to see you. Huge hug to Craft Mama. I've missed you as well. Hi, Renwood. Hi to everybody. It's great to see you guys here to talk about this episode of Westworld. So let me, as I said, get my immediate thoughts out the door. Let me hold the door for my opening thoughts, just to kind of get it out there. Fun series, fun opener. I really like the direction it's going. All the acting, production value is there. It may not be everyone's cup of tea. There are some parts that maybe are convoluted or take a couple of paying attention in a certain way to understand what's going on, or different ways of looking at things. I like that they do that. I think that's fun. I like Nolan stuff. Christopher Nolan, or the Christopher Nolan films are some of my favorite. And Jonathan Nolan and his wife, I don't have the name right in front of me right now, Joy something, I believe, are the creators of this show. So it definitely at times has that Nolan-esque kind of feel to it. But J.J. Abrams is also attached to it as well. So it took a long time to come into existence, but I'm really happy about it. If you're at all curious about it and it at all shows you any interest, definitely check it out and then come back and watch this a little bit later, okay? So thumbs up, full butthole, get on in there, touch it. It's a lot of fun. Okay, spoilers, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fucking series. I really like this shit. I love stuff like this. I love holodeck simulations in Star Trek, which it feels a lot like too. Westworld is a mindfuck of fun, emotional nature because it tests you. It tests what your limits are when you're watching these potentially just machines be in these weird situations, and it really tests you as a human being. I really like that sort of stuff. So let's get in the live motherfucking chat. Anyone needs to demand they free their doors. Can I have my free game of free the door? Holy shit. Now, I great to see all of you guys in there and to talk about this series. Now, I want to get a few things out of the way off the bat. I know that there was a 1973 movie of the same title. I never saw the movie. I am somewhat familiar with what the concept of it is. It's basically similar to this. There is an amusement park of some sorts. Think Jurassic Park-y, where people, except it's been consistent. It's been going on for a long time, at least 30 years, maybe more, because at one point a character says to another character, I've been working here for 30 years and there hasn't been an incident for 30 years. Things like that. It's a park where people can go and pay really, and then think city slickers, where people can pay to go hang out with cowboys. So, and think Star Trek simulation, holodeck simulations, where people can't get hurt. So you take all of those elements together and people go out on these adventures and pay money to go out and live life out in the West. I think in the book there is a fantasy land of sort, a medieval land of sort, and there's also, I think, a Roman land of sorts. So you take all of those elements that make it sort of a game, and that is what Westworld is. You go there, you pay there, you interact with all these NPCs, these non-playable characters, these humans-like creatures, really lifelike kind of creatures that carry you through. Think Disney animatronics times a million. And you have all these interactions with them. They can't hurt you, but you can hurt them. And you can do anything you want to them. They can't fucking do shit to you. And these people are living out weird fantasies and shit, which there you get into the Star Trek holodeck kind of comparisons and stuff. So here we go. That is basically the general concept of it by nature, but deep inside it, it's obviously, or not obviously, it has a lot of other deeper issues that focus with artificial intelligence. Again, Star Trek Data is Data or life form? Is Johnny Five really alive? That kind of stuff. And then dealing with a overarching story of maybe this company is trying to mine this ability for nefarious means, but none of that's actually spelled out in the premiere episode, in the pilot episode. It's a lot more looser and a lot more of just an oversight of everything, a day in the life of the situation. We have a lot of really amazing actors. Ed Harris, Anthony Hopkins are just two that popped into my mind right away. Anthony Hopkins plays the creator of this park, the head of Jurassic Park that has secret fucking demons, and it's Anthony fucking Hopkins. It's gonna be on my TV for 10 fucking weeks. I'm gonna get to see Hannibal Lecter acting on my fucking television. Fuck. Okay, even if I don't think everything inside this story was perfect, it didn't give me everything I wanted right off the bat. It gave me a lot of fun stuff. The acting and the casting and the acting of this show is really amazing, and the crazy budget that we're going to get into in a little bit, because HBO is sinking a lot of time and attention. I'm trying not to pay attention to any of that HBO telling me that this is going to be a hit. I don't care about that. I'm trying to get into it. But you can tell HBO has spent a lot of money. They also spent a lot of money on vinyl. You saw how that went. HBO isn't completely, they've spent a lot of money on Boardwalk Empire. That worked out. This is the highest rated premiere episode for HBO since the premiere of Boardwalk Empire. So they're sinking a lot of time and attention into this series. The series was supposed to come out a year ago. It got delayed for a year. And the series looks amazing. The wide landscapes that we see when we're in Westworld, and then panning into the real world when we see this futuristic world where they're looking down on a land, almost like Truman Show, which is funny because Ed Harris is in there. And Ed Harris said throughout this whole first episode, it's like, something fishy's going on. I know something bigger is going on here. And he's on some mission. We'll get into that a little bit later too, the men in black there. But I think it's funny that what he's really looking for is that he was in the Truman Show, and this is the same guy. I'm creating a universe. It's the same guy that was in the Truman Show, and now he's going to Westworld years later and fucking with people, and he wants to take it over, have a hostile takeover of Westworld. The show cost HBO $250 million. HBO splashing cast on Westworld, says Bo. The pilot actually seems to turn the movie upside down, but next week preview looks like the fun beginning of the movie. Critch, you've seen the movie. You mentioned something in the Discord group. Is the movie worth checking out at this point? I liked the first episode. I'm curious about more about this world. Does having seen the movie put you at an advantage that I want to be at when watching this? Or would you suggest to me being ignorance is bliss here and go into this completely ignorant and don't worry about the movie till after this first season or maybe never or something like that? I'm just curious of your suggestion as someone that's seen the movie. And I also know that they were trying to do this series. This is a series that they've been trying to do for a while. I want to say there was another attempt of it too. I might be quoting random moments I read in Wikipedia articles, but I want to say this is the second attempt for a Westworld-like series to be produced. So this concept isn't brand new. I mean, I think it's exciting in the way they're doing it with the Nolan sort of sensibility and the style that they're doing it. It comes off as very unique, but the thoughts behind this have been there since the movie in 1973. And as I mentioned, Star Trek deals with this concept a lot with holodeck stuff. I was joking about Johnny Five is alive, but Johnny Five is alive, that kind of stuff. And so it's going to be fun to see how this explores this AI, obviously. Here we go. The show cost $250 million. Welcome, Sunny Day. Great to see you, buddy. I loved episode 1, says Educated Monkey. Very intriguing and thought-provoking. This show is created by the Jurassic Park guys. I heard the show's budget was a little under what Game of Thrones' first season was, but I've heard a few different budgets, so I don't know. Like real-life RPG with essentially NPCs everywhere. Exactly, CG. Great to see you, Sunny. Hope all is well, my friend. I heard... Let's see. They took big risks with the not fun first episode. I love the episode. Critch, I agree. I watched the first half of it with Stephanie. Then she had to leave, and I watched the second half. Then I watched the second half with her again. And I think this show's even going to increase in enjoyment on repeat watches after the whole season's done. Like when you see where this all goes, I think it's going to be even more exciting to go back and watch back from season 1 and pick up all the things that you missed. Even from the beginning of this episode with what happens at the end with the fly and shit, it made me want to go back and watch how our main character, I haven't got to her yet, interacts in every situation. See if I think it's even through a robot, it's all an act of some sort. Now I know why we didn't have dire. Now I know why we didn't have direwolves, because they spent that much money. So that is they really threw curveballs on us with the Man in Black. Movie is a fun frolic to start, turns dark in time. Future World was a sequel. I liked how the TV flipped the Yul Brynner and Richard Benjamin characters. I know the Yul Brynner character is essentially or Ed Harris's character is a take on the Yul Brynner character from the movie. And maybe now that I'm going to get into the series, maybe the movie might be a good movie watch recap thing once we get into this a little bit more. Phil, you're my favorite because you tell like it's no sucking up to. Oh, thank you, Sylvia. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't perfect. I think the acting was perfect. The development of the visuals were perfect. I'm going to be very interested to see where this series goes. The sound is back. Everyone, welcome to the show, Unknown Caller. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. What did you think of the premiere episode of Westworld?
I thought it was great, but there's one thing. Where's my free door, please? I want my free door.
Do I have to hold the door?
You promised a free door.
When did I promise a free door?
I want my free door, please. Can I have my free door, please?
Okay, I'm gonna give you give you a free door. I will have my people contact your people. Awesome, buddy. Great to talk to that friend. I'm sorry I do not have your free door. Wait, maybe I do. Wait, let me see if I can get a door. I can find a door for you. I can order it online. I'm not sure if I can have the door. I think this is so much deeper and darker. It's not family friendly, especially for a pilot. With the series leaving little clues and judges for rewatching to make it better. I have a crackpot theory for the series already. Let us hear it, Eli. I'm curious. Great caller, by the way. Great call, my friend. So let's continue here. It is a very fun series, very good opener, and I think it's going to head in a lot of dark directions. It also has the potential to get a little bit up its own ass. I don't think it's going to go in that direction, but it's very possible that this series could go in a too surreal, weird sort of way. And I hope it doesn't go down that route. I think why I like the pilot, and one of the aspects I like, is something that Jonathan Nolan said in an interview, and I'm paraphrasing. It was something along the lines is, we put that whole scene at the end, the big gunfire thing, or you added that other character or something like that. They did that and added those situations simply because they wanted to add a little bit more of a lighter action to it all, a little bit more energy to it all, and make it a little bit more fun, they said. And people like shoot 'em up time, so let's have a big Western blow up here in a bank heist and stuff. So if they keep that mindset where they make sure that they give maybe a deeper sort of meaningful thing going on, but they bring us comedy with it too. They bring us different aspects, different elements to it as well, and they keep things fun and fresh and palatable. I think I'm going to really love this series. If they get it a little bit too much smug mixed in there and stuff, then I might have problems with it, if that makes sense at all. And here we go. I'm wondering if Ed Harris's character is actually a robot who thinks he's human, possibly a robot sent from the rival corporation trying to uncover secrets about their competition. Eli, that's very interesting that you say that, because I had a similar thought that Ed Harris just being a guest that's been going there for 30 years and having fun, I think is almost a too simplistic of a concept for what they're going for here. I agree. I think maybe he might be an Agent Smith in there of some sort. Maybe even he's the focal point of being self-aware. The John Locke of the series of something. Sorry to go lost on it. But I don't know. I think I get that kind of feel from him, that it's more than it seems with him. I was joking, obviously, about the Truman Show comparisons, but I do think there's something more to Ed Harris's character than meets the eye. He's a little bit of a transformer. I haven't seen Westworld episode, just saw Phil live and I show up. Great to see you, Remy. How far in the future do you think we are? Very good question. I don't know how far in the future. That would be, I think in the future that I don't think it's got to be a long time. It's 30 years this park has been going on. And if this park and this technology has been this far ahead 30 years, it's probably in the 21, 22. I don't know. I'm completely driving that out my ass. Maybe Critch or somebody that has read the book, a little bit familiar with the source material, might be able to. Maybe they say something in the book. Sorry, not the book. In the movie, that they might have some sort of understanding of what time period the series started. Yeah, exactly, CJ. They mentioned that all diseases are cured, that human evolution has gotten to the point where maybe we might be able to bring people back from the dead at some point. Anthony Hopkins, the biggest clue that we get to when this is Anthony Hopkins has a monologue at some point in time where he gets into talking about all of that, about humankind has almost reached the point where we can cure diseases with ease. We can bring people back to the dead, maybe. Or is it a human trying to uncover what the company's true motives are? Eli, definitely one or the other. There's something more to Ed Harris's character, and he was one of my favorite elements of the entire series. I always loved Ed Harris, and I love characters like that within worlds like this. Again, I mentioned John Locke for a second, but he's a great example of it. Someone that's outside of the norm. I'm going to talk Lost, because I think this series in this year has a lot of potential to build up, like Lost season 1 did. It's going to be really interesting to see where this goes from. Whenever secrets get built up in a series, I always worry about the payoffs and how soon they pay them off and how soon series have to end after you pay off things like that. I think that's one of the toughest things to do in a television series. It's building up these mysteries and having to fulfill what people want the answers to those mysteries are, and do it in a timely enough fashion so people aren't like, I don't give a fuck about this, or people are just, or it just surprises you or causes you not to think of it as, oh, this is the show going way out there. This makes no sense. I want to see. Yeah, it's amazing all-star cast, Mo. Ed Harris, Anthony Hopkins. We could stop there, but then we have people like Evan Rachel Wood, who it was unbelievable in this first episode is Dolores. I am in love with her character, both when she's acting in Westworld mode and then outside in robot mode or android mode, when it literally seems to me like she could cut anyone's head off at any point in time. There is definitely, maybe I'm transferring it onto it, like people transfer personalities onto inanimate objects sometimes. Well said. But knowing that, knowing what these creatures, these elements go through, and again, maybe Data. I've done the same thing with Data from Star Trek. This is Brent Spiner, by the way, has to show up in the show. I don't care how short the part is, but Brent Spiner needs to be a part of Westworld somehow, or have a sci-fi world and have it be a Star Trek thing, or when they show fantasy world, have it be Game of Thrones, or when they show, or how come when we go into the Western bar, the first thing we see the guy with the handlebar mustache, how could they not get McShane to do that part just for a second? No. But I really like the direction that this series is going, and Evan Rachel Wood is amazing in it. We have the ugly Hemsworth brother. I didn't know that there was an ugly Hemsworth brother. He's not ugly, but we have the another Hemsworth in this movie. Jeffrey Wright, Thandie Newton, fucking lots of people that are in this cast. We have that girl from Raising Hope that played the girlfriend in Raising Hope. I think her name is Sharon Woodward, I think it is. I wish a Buffy bought in the damn consequences. Saluting Philly boy, doing just done a reaction to the series. I like what I saw. Good shit. Great to see you, Johnny, the fucking Irish wildling, buddy. I'm glad to see that you like this series. Everyone check out Johnny's reaction if you want to hear some more thoughts on it. Love you, Johnny. You're the best. Magically delicious. Great to see you. Question and answer. They mentioned a crucial failure 30 years ago. What do I make of that? And I don't know if he's really the ugly Hemsworth, depending on your taste. I just think his other two brothers are so good looking that he can't help but be the ugly Hemsworth. He's not bad looking. He just kind of looks like them, but an ugly version of them. In a normal life, he'd probably be a decent looking dude. But it's like when you compare him to Thor and fucking that other dude, you're just like, shit, fuck. I think it was a Jurassic Park type event that probably happened 30 years ago where the robots turned on man, or it's the same world as the movie, and they're talking about whatever the events in the movie were that I don't know. And 30 years ago was the movie. I honestly don't know if this is supposed to be the same world. So it would be very interesting to see where they go with that. But I think 30 years ago was the incident or something, was probably the last robot uprising. And androids learn from the worst behaviors. I think this may be the longer range use. Dukronk says, cool show, like the Chronic. Like the Chronic. That too. Dukronk, cool show, like the Concept. Hopkins, you typical megamaniacal tycoon. I said it, Mo. Not well, but I said it. Salute, Sam. Oh, great to see Johnny the Irish Wildling in here. I love Johnny. Dude said he's been doing it for 30 years. Yes, that's what Bernard. I'm going to be killing the names. I might say that guy, Ugly Hemsworth here or whatever. It's going to take me a couple times talking about the series or a couple times watching it to be completely in charge of what I want to talk about or know the characters' names. I'm going to say Raising Hope Girl. I'm going to say Boss Lady of the military that's going to be dead by the end of the season lady, weird, quirky writer guy. I mean, those are the ways I'm going to describe some of the characters because I just don't know their names at any point yet. So this show is going up against The Walking Dead in 3 weeks. Yes, it is. And it did really amazing ratings. I think 3 million views or something like that. But I don't think it's going to do as well against The Walking Dead. That's part of the reason why I'm not going to do immediate recaps of that, because we're going to do The Walking Dead ones, but I might do recaps or something about it on Mondays. I think it's interesting that HBO is putting it up against there. I think it's going to be a good test. But I think we live in a different age where it's weird. The immediacy of watching stuff. People love to watch things on replay. People are cutting the cord. They watch things online. They download torrents. They do whatever they can to watch stuff that's either on Netflix or on Amazon or on Hulu or on HBO or on Showtime or whatever. People will find ways to watch it. But still, there's a cycle of after an episode airs, there's a big percentage of people that even whatever way they watch it, they watch and they want to talk about the series. So there is still going up against something, and it is going to be going up against Walking Dead and all that hullabaloo. So I think it's AMC started the first blow by trying to put that piece of shit Fear up against Game of Thrones. They threw the first gauntlet in this battle. And then so they're like, fuck it. We were going to put this on for a summer show, but you know what? Fuck you, AMC. We're going to do this. But I think Walking Dead will still win I hate this term, win the cycle, but I think this is a really good show that's going to get some pub if it keeps going, or it's just going to fail. And people are going to say it's a big bloated mess of something, whatever. It's going to be interesting to see how this series is accepted, because I think it can find an audience and will find an audience, but there's always drop-offs. It's not going to get as crazy of ratings next week as it got this. And I don't know if there's a huge market for this kind of show. This is one of those shows that's made for my kind of sensibilities. And I'm not saying I'm the only person that can enjoy it, but I like convoluted nonsense that's kind of funny and works together. I don't know. I dig the concepts, but it's not perfect, and not every person's going to love it. Hopkins ruled. He could have said blah blah blah, and I would have nodded. And having Anthony Hopkins, I mentioned this before, in my fucking television screen for 10 weeks in a row isn't a fucking horrible thing. And I like this trend of amazing actors coming and do television. Someone like him doing this. Humans do not look so good in the mirror when they think no one is looking. I watch Westworld first, listening to Phil's show if I want to see The Walking Dead. Thank you, Sylvia. That's how I suggest doing it, Sylvia. Fuck that shit. Watch the horrible reactions to the Walking Dead first, though. Harris's character from here on is El Cunty Mick. I'm a dick, says Johnny. That's part of the reason why I keep mentioning Lost is he's called the Man in Black. So this show's going up against The Walking Dead. Harris's character is named Cunty McCunt. Hopkins ruled. Anthony Hopkins was in the show for 5 minutes, and he was fucking awesome. HBO don't have ads, so people will watch this first. Ragged Dio says this show will never be as good as Game of Thrones. I don't like fantasy genre. Besides, even if it was on par and someone said, I don't like, as much as I love sci-fi and everything like that, it's sci-fi Western combination is a great medium and a great genre. Game of Thrones, historical fantasy or whatever Game of Thrones is I'm more into it. I'm more of a fan of that world than I'd ever could be of this world, even if I'd be able to appreciate the shows individually. It's like I'll always like The Sopranos better than The Wire, even though I could be argued that The Wire is a better show. I could definitely see someone making that. I've talked about this before recently too. I could see someone making the argument that The Wire is a better show from beginning to end. But I like The Sopranos more because I feel for the story and the characters. And Game of Thrones to me does great, both things wonderful. I fall in love with those characters and the story grabs me. Sometimes, you question things, but in this show, I'm going to like this. I'm going to really love this kind of storytelling. I love the machines uprising. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Why have the show if the machines aren't going to uprise? And I think that's what we get at the end with the fly swat. But that kind of thing could never topple my interest in something that I'm just like more into that style, if you know what I mean. Agreed, Phil. This might be hardcore sci-fi philosophical for HBO mass audiences. Yeah, that's what I feel about it, Critch. This is going to be a very specialized audience. There were people that didn't like holodeck episodes on Star Trek. I keep mentioning holodeck episodes on Star Trek, but this felt a lot like it. And it feels like it's going to be one of those things. Moriarty goes wrong. And then we have the data comparisons too. Game of Thrones has my heart always. Me too, Eli. My favorite dude was the bandit with the human shot in the neck. Red Dead Redemption nostalgia. I think that character's name was Hector, Johnny. Great character. I like that shit too. Good guy. So, in Sam says I'm not a huge fan of Westerns. Star Trek in the 20s was cool. Agree, Phil. This may be too hard. Oh, yeah, too hard. This series has so much potential, but they could easily mess it up with bad pussy writing and worn out plots. I'm really excited about this show. Extremely well said, Chantel Hayes. That's almost exactly how I feel about it. I think they have a lot of potential set up in this episode. A lot of potential that could be really fucking awesome. And I really do love it. I really do love it. Let's listen. We got a message. This might be a hold in the door, but we'll accept it.
Hello, Hilario. I'm from India. I really do enjoy the show. Westworld is a great show. I'd like to know though, Why did you say to the guy who admitted the does he should be quiet? It is a voting censorship.
You're very true. You're very true. I believe in you, and I want you to have the door. I'm giving you the door. Here, take the door. I'm closing the door, opening the door, giving you the door. You hold the door. I love it. Love that shit. Hector, got to keep that in mind. Gut milk, the gut milk part. Sim, this is far from a Western as you can get, but you still have the horse shit. And I feel as far as the series goes, we're going to get less and less of that Westernness to it. Star Trek Voyager Alien debut was my favorite episode ever, or favorite episode of that series ever. If you hate the genre of Game of Thrones, you'll still love Game of Thrones. Yeah, give it a chance as educated monkey. Even if Westworld becomes kind of convoluted, I will still watch it for the music and location shots. I agree. I'm going to watch it for the Nolan-ness of it all, because I think Jonathan Nolan's a great writer, and I enjoy his stuff, and I enjoy everything he's done with Christopher Nolan, and I'm curious to see what his baby would look like. And they hooked me enough in this first episode, especially, as you said, from the visual. I haven't even talked about the Black Hole Sun or the Painted Black orchestrations that they did that really set up the scenes extremely well. The music, most of the music design, or at least the theme music and the opening, was done by all the same people that do the Game of Thrones ones. I forget the dude's name, but he did the same, did the intro music as well. So the intro of this, with the 3D printing and all that sort of shit, really one of the best intros I've seen in a while. A little bit of really them HBO really pushing it with that intro, and I think I like that. That is still a big aspect of of Netflix series have it too, with Daredevil, Jessica Jones, House of Cards, Luke Cage. All these intros are very much important parts of the series again. And HBO, it's always been a big part, with The Sopranos, The Wire, Oz. It's those intro music really set the scene of the mood of the series. And that before it even starts, I was ready to love this series because of that intro. And yeah, Painted Black was perfectly modified to fit the scene. The woman who was the head of the board of management is a robot in disguise as a spy to see who will fuck Anthony Hopkins over. Watch. Raymond is going to be in high demand this year. He's going to be in high demand after these scores of these shows, the Game of Thrones and this Westworld sound designer. If you can make a near perfect programmable android and have visitors base of powerful rich humans, where do you think it goes? This will be complex. It's going to go with the aliens developing sentience and then getting into a whole discussion of them fighting back. But I don't think it's going to be as clear with anything as bad guys and good guys. I was listening to another podcast, the great post-show recaps with Josh Wigler. He was doing it with, I forget the gentleman's name that he was doing the podcast with. Great show that they were doing. But one of the hosts was saying that what he didn't like about the series was it wasn't clear to him who were the good guys, who were the bad guys. He wants more clear distinctions. I respectfully could not fucking disagree with you more on that. What I like about this series is the questioning. The fact that right from the beginning, with Cyclops there, with what the fuck's his name in the show? Will, is that his name? I forget what his name is. The boyfriend, Rachel's boyfriend. Cyclops. So whatever his name is, Teddy, with Teddy, you have, and Ed Harris's character, you have to question if they're machine or if they're human because it's so close. And those different dynamics really of not being able to tell what's good, what's bad. Are this guy that comes to the end and shoots Hector in the head when Hector's giving a speech, or when these humans get involved, when Ed Helms does what he does to Evan Rachel Wood's character, the android at the beginning, if we're to assume that Ed Harris is just some guy that's been coming to the poker game room for 30 years and just feel bad, but this is what I got to do. Like, what element of this, who are good guys and who are bad guys in this, so to speak, because there's no clear situations here, because you may think that the people that are going to this park may have sick fetishes, but they don't think that they're hurting real people. It's like playing Grand Theft Auto or something, or playing some simulation where you fucking start running over pedestrians or some shit. It's just fucking bullshit, or being in a play or doing something, or thinking that you're being in some sort of role play game or whatever, or again with Star Trek being in the holodeck, or enacting out weird fantasy, Vulcan Love Slave Volume 13 or something. It's going to introduce a lot of interesting questions, I think, is where potentially the series could go in a good direction, and really kind of have it be more surreal. I think would be the best possible option. If you get into where people, I don't know, if you get into too I-humany with it or something, I think it might be a little weird. I have a feeling they're going to go more holodeck, the Doctor, and I don't know, or might even just be machines fighting back and like T2 kind of stuff, where they start just eventually learn ways to override, and they work, then they have their own love resistance going on. I like shows like that too, where the line between good and bad isn't necessarily there. They kind of, I really want to watch Mr. Robot. I've watched season 1. I like it. I enjoy it. I want to watch it more. It's just not, it's one of those series I think I want to wait till it's all done and finished and watch the whole series as a big, long marathon. I don't want to wait for it. It's just that kind of show that I want to, like, if I get out of the habit of watching it, I'm not inspired to go back and watch it, but while I'm watching it, I never want to stop. So I feel like it's a binge series, not a week-to-week series. This might end up being that kind of series too, where I don't want to have to wait for questions. We finished the first episode and Stephanie was like, okay, where's episode 2? You fucking made me watch an episode like this without there being an episode 2. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. So I get it. This certain things, the way we absorb media right now, we want it and we want it now. The kind to show the AI actual for fear of dying. I felt bad for the machines. And me too, Educated Monkey. And that was the thing that they were setting up. They were setting it up in a way that you question these people. Like the guy who comes, the guy's wife is like, oh my God, something's wrong with it. Let's get out of here. But if you think about it, what was she doing? She was fearful that an animatronic machine was acting weird. If you were at Disney World, when the Pirates of the Caribbean started sparking and throwing things, you would be like, get me away from this fucking machine. You jump in that water and swim back to the shore to try to get away from that fucking shit. So it's weird. It's just a weird questioning of, depending on the perspective, as Obi-Wan says, it was the truth. And if a matter of perspective, everything's a matter of perspective and how you're looking at things. This first episode, because it makes you really feel for Evan Rachel Wood's character of Dolores, and especially of her father, the acting of the dude that played her father, the guy that kind of looks a little bit like Jorah. He was unbelievable. And with his fucking speech we'll get into that a little bit, but as I wrap into a little bit of a recap of this episode, now that I'm sort of just getting out all my initial thoughts of that, but I'm going to go through a little bit of an episode recap point for point. So let's go back. I felt bad for the machines. 7 of 9. Yeah. Definitely a Borg thing could happen here. The humans in this pilot so far are the ones that are morally decrepit. That's what it seems like, Eli, too. It seems like each one of them has a weird agenda. Even Anthony Hopkins' character seems like there's something weird going on. We have the Raising Hope girl that likes to kiss the robots and seems to have a fantasy going on with having intimacy with some of these characters. So entitled. I want my TV now. Yes, Peter. I want it now, mommy. The unaltered hosts are innocent. The guests are enjoying themselves without consequence. The learning androids are learning from the worst of us. What could go wrong? Oh gosh. Has everyone's sound gone out? No, still I realize I'm telling Sylvia no when she can't hear me. So everybody, let's get into one of my favorite parts of the show. Let's get into recap! Recap! Oh, baby! I want you to touch me in my recap, Phil. Do it right like this. Eat it, you motherfucking hippie fuck!
I don't know what to tell you, Phil.
Okay. I love all you guys. And I like to say, as always, I cannot say enough thanks to everyone in the motherfucking chat and everyone that leaves comments. And I said it before and I say it again. as we're starting to get back to the season. We're getting a couple people coming back at the beginning of our season time. Thank you to everyone that helped us get to 10,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone that has donated to Patreon or PayPal. And thank you to anybody that has already signed up. We have a sponsorship now through Audible. And if you guys want to sign up for a free audiobook and 30 days free of Audible, you can help us out that way with the sponsorship. You can find the link to that in the description box below, but it's audibletrial.com/issues. That's the code word. So if anyone's ever thinking about trying books on tape, you can try it for 30 days free, get a free book, cancel if you don't want it, but whatever, but keep it for 30 days and check it out, and it helps the channel grow. All that sort of shit. Yeah, I did a commercial. Fuck! Did I just do a fucking commercial? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck! Oh, no! I did a commercial. Let me fart. Oh, fart. There we go. Here we go. Fart. Fuck shit. Oh, we're not done yet, Johnny the Irish fucking Wildling. Johnny the Irish fucking Wildling. You know what? Fucking Johnny the fucking Irish Wildling, you motherfucker. You know what, Johnny the fucking Irish fucking Wildling. You are a motherfucker, Johnny. So now we're starting out with our little recap here, a little fucking recap. So the series premiere opens up, and it's one of the best opening segments I've seen in a while. Like, really, wow. It was just fucking awesome. Music was eerie as fuck. Really set the sci-fi thing. Really got in there and touched it. Ragnar, unless it's where we go. I'm seeing something about porn. Makes me excited in there. 3D tech is good in the future. Kermit. Why are there so many? I don't care how well written the story is. If the characters suck, the show sucks. Agree with you 100%. Fucking if the characters suck, the show sucks. I don't care how good or developing or how interesting the story might end up being. I could not agree with you enough. So we open up to this awesome segment, eerie as fuck with the 3D printing. We open up to a woman in a holodeck, what it seems like to me, a woman in a holodeck. Oh, yeah, I hear you, buddy. You were in. We're also joined by a guest for our recap section. Chantel Hayes, you said it. You said you love his videos. He's going to pop in here one another. I think he's having a little bit of technical difficulties, and not the hippie type of technical difficulties I have with me for the recap section, and just share a couple of thoughts because I know he also has a video on it. The Johnny the Irish Wildling is here with us, so he'll be popping in and out. Johnny, while he figures out his technical difficulties. Hey, Johnny, welcome, buddy.
I'm here, brother. I'm here, just listening. Can I grab me charger, because this laptop is going to die. You shocked the shit out of me.
I know I did, man. I'm sorry. No, take your time, dude. Take your time. Mute yourself. Take your time. I'm just gonna go through a recap of it, and then we can bullshit a little bit at the end.
Sweet, brother. Sweet. 2 minutes.
Cool, man. Take your time, bro. So Johnny the Irish Wildling will be joining us at the end of this recap. I'm really excited to have him pop in here. I sort of invited him on unannounced. I'm like the unannouncing podcast Mad Hatter. I'm like, Johnny the Irish Wildling, you will join me on this podcast now, motherfucker. So what do we think that Ed Harris is? Definitely awesome. That's perfect. I know some of you guys have some questions and answers and question and answering type stuff. Any question that you have, hold on to it, copy it and paste it, get it ready to throw it. Once Johnny gets in here, Johnny and I will do a little bit of question and answer on the series and stuff like that. But what do I think Ed Harris's character's up to? I think he's tired of Westworld and wants something better. He must have a lot of money to practically live there. It's a very interesting question what he's up to. That's a lot of fun. Vladimir, hi Phil and chat. I'm here for a moment to say hi, Phil. Get more active on here. Peace out, my fellow nerds. This is just the beginning of my TV series. Excuse me. I'm going to be a lot more active in coming weeks. Oh, I'm going to be coming all over everywhere. Coming all over everywhere, everybody. Oh shit! I lost my power on my sound cue thing. What the fuck? Watch Breaking Bad. So yeah, he must have a lot of money, because I can't remember if it was actually said, but I thought it was implied that it was around $40,000 a pop for people to go into it. So the beginning segment that we get to get back to the beginning of our episode, this is what we hear at the beginning.
Bring her back online.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, watch Breaking Bad if you haven't watched it.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling quite myself.
You can lose the accent. Do you know where you are?
You're in the jungle,
I'm in a
baby.
dream.
That's right, Dolores. You're in a dream. Would you like to wake up from this dream?
Yes. I'm terrified.
There's nothing to be afraid of, Dolores. As long as you answer my questions correctly. Understand?
Yes.
Good. First, have you ever questioned the nature of your reality?
No.
So that's our little beginning section that we get, where we get to see her being interrogated. We don't see, we start off on basically her naked body sitting there and being interrogated. And then we get into learning about Westworld. We're open to the woman voice. She's terrified. A fly pops in her eye in that scene. It's really freaking creepy. Dolores, Rachel Wood was the main character, and she's a host in the park. It's easy to tell within the first few minutes. Dolores is the focal part of our story. We learn she's a host, and she's being interviewed. Late in the episode that we find out she's the oldest host in the park. I disapprove of tonight's technical difficulties. They're used more for fun. Fair enough. Fair enough. Very, very, very fair point, my friend. That's very funny. I think Ed Harris has been in Westworld for so long as he's played. Every storyline is now trying to find an Easter egg. He's like those guys in Warcraft that swam to the bottom of the ocean and uncovered a giant monster and shit. Shortly after being introduced to Dolores, we meet Teddy, James, and it's quickly we assume that the two are in love. We see Teddy coming in on a train. At first, they try to trick you a little bit and make it seem like Teddy's one of the guests arriving. We hear guests talking about how they're arriving to the park, about how they did the good time last time, did all the Dude Ranch stuff, but then went straight evil, almost like they're talking about a game of Knights of the Old Republic. Like, yeah, I was good the first time, but then I took the evil route this last time. And it's just kind of creepy the way they see it. But we follow Teddy for these first 15 minutes, and it makes it seem, like I said, like Teddy is one of the guests. And we see Teddy and Dolores meet. She says, "Oh, I see you here again, Teddy." And then we realize ultimately that Teddy is a machine too, or Teddy is one of the acts. He's one of the, similar to Majora's Mask, when characters are meant to fall in love or fall out of love. Teddy's kind of the shitheel. He's the one that's going to get kicked around. He's the one that guests come into town and come to see him just to fucking shoot Teddy when they have nothing better to do. Teddy is a joke.
Tell us what you think of your world.
Some people choose to see the ugliness in this world.
No,
The disarray.
not me.
I choose to see the beauty.
Ultimately, Teddy is bumped into the Men in Black. Teddy and her have this whole exchange that goes back and forth till ultimately she's upset that they get kind of jumped, or I think they try to save her farm or something. I'm blanking on it a little bit. And Teddy saves the day by killing two guys that killed her father. And then right when they think everything's okay, you think it's going to be just like a typical holodeck sort of scenario, the Men in Black shows up.
You'll be following right behind him, you son of a bitch!
Is that any way to treat an old friend? I've been coming here for 30 years, but you still don't remember me, do you? After all we've been through, they gave you a little more pluck, Dolores. Absolutely charming.
I just want to point out a good question in the live chat, meaning like, would you have any doubts? Would it be difficult for you to do these things in the real world setting? I think at first, but depending on how far along this is, again, the video game thing is very apropos, because depending on the kind of video games you're playing that seem like real life, even like an Elder Scroll game when you're scrolling around town and you have to like beat someone down or something, it's video games. After a while, you start to just be desensitized to it. If people know and they think that these are the video games of the times, it's not like the Running Man where they're hunting down real people. These are machines that get repaired and get put out the next day. They have no concept that these machines have memories or anything like that. Ed Helms he might be ahead of the curve a little bit, but most people that come to this park are dumb frat boys on a bachelor party looking to do the same sort of stupid shit that people do. or kids or couples that are looking to do, like I said, the city slickers kind of thing, live a weird lifestyle, or again, like Knights of the Old Republic. Oh, I want to be an evil Jedi, and every person that asks me for help, I want to kill them. I mean, it's horrible, but people do that, and people like playing games like that, or playing D&D, even being an evil character in D&D. Sometimes it's fun, or playing Hannibal Lecter in a movie, or the Joker in a movie or something might be fun. Escapism. There's nothing really in concept wrong with escapism, at least to me. And that's what's interesting about this, because the show's framed in a way that you feel for the animals. You feel for the dinosaurs. You feel for the machines.
Take your hands off her.
Teddy.
Any special tricks for us? They teach you to sit up, beg. How about I give you the first shot? After all, every dog has its day. Your mouth moves fast enough. How about you go?
So ultimately that scene ends with Ed Harris basically dragging her off, leaving Teddy emasculated and unable to shoot him. Directive, what's the RoboCop directive? Not being able to shoot the enemy or shoot the human. Either he's Agent Smith or something like that, and he is able to be a machine that's omnipresent and has superpowers and shit throughout it all, or he's a human or a guest, like it's what face value is. And he didn't want to kill Teddy because he doesn't care. He's just like, okay, Teddy. He almost seemed annoyed with having to draw his gun there. And Harris eventually shoots him and then drags Dolores in and says a couple of other things. No, I don't want you not to fight. I come here for a struggle. Things like that. Really fucked up shit goes on there. So then eventually we lead into meeting
Well, enough.
Anthony Hopkins' character.
Damn right. Men neither. I've seen a few showdowns in my day.
Anthony Hopkins is
What do you know?
Anthony Hopkins is talking to Buffalo Bill there,
Going to the lady with the white shoes.
we meet this old animatronic character who's almost like Disney World sort of character that is an old sort of one of the first ones or the second one he says that we ever made. And you see how Anthony Hopkins is sort of the kind of creator that likes to go down and hang out and have drinks with these things. He's amazed with these things, but he also gives off the vibe like it's all a bit too much for him. And he thinks that this is the best I did. I created characters in a park. I don't know. It's hard to read Anthony Hopkins because that son of a fuck has so much acting ability that he's giving out so many different shits out in his face and his emotion that it's hard to read exactly where he's at in the show. But it's exceptionally fun to see Anthony Hopkins again on my television screen giving amazing performances like this. So, Anthony.
Put yourself away again, won't you, Bill?
Put yourself away. Yeah. Anthony Hopkins with Buffalo Bill. Was this a Silence of the Lambs shout out, or am I being dumb? Says Johnny.
The gestures, the reveries.
Oh, here we go. Reveries. So
the distance you've traveled from then till now, it's remarkable.
Breathtaking.
Yeah, that's a word for it.
So ultimately, this episode stems along the fact that Anthony Hopkins put in a program or added an update that allows the reprogram. Let's think about it like this. All these machines are like when you reboot a computer or something like that. The old memory still exists somewhere, but you can just reboot it and delete it and add more shit or something like that. The programs of the last lives they lived, like say someone like me, I'm an animatronic robot. In one life, I may be a male prostitute. In another life, I may be a bum on the street. In another life, I may be whatever. They make me something else. They wipe my memory. They put me in a different position when they need my body to be in a different position. That sounded really dirty and sexy. So ultimately, all these different creatures, all these different animatronics have lived many different lifetimes. So what Anthony Hopkins' character did is he introduced an update that allowed them to access those past memories and make decisions, improvisations off the scripts that they have based on things that happened in the past that might affect them. It caused a problem. It's like Johnny Five getting struck by lightning in short circuit and developing sentience. It's like Data getting into an accident and having to access his dream circuits early in Star Trek The Next Generation when he has that fantasy in the Bashir episode when Bashir visits the Enterprise. So it's a moment like that created maybe a discovery, or did the discovery exist already? It's hard to say. So for whatever reason, Anthony Hopkins' character introduced this update. The update is causing problems. Some of these creatures are malfunctioning, and they have to kind of do this weird setup where they have to take 200 of them offline to do it. So they set up this big, huge action scene to kill a bunch of people and have a whole big crazy thing happen so that they can have everyone come into town or take people out of town and people won't notice, to ruin the whole fucking narrative of sorts. It was definitely still cursing. Oh, great to see you all. Great to see everybody. Great to see our Red Sox fan in the motherfucking chat. So ultimately,
well enough. You headed out to set down some of this natural splendor?
Thought I might.
Then after it all happens, the day happens again. It just keeps going over and over and over again, and just flips around, and everything just happens. The first sequence as a whole, from when Dolores wakes up to the first time, then... Okay, so 15 minutes into the show, viewers finally leave the theme park. We also meet the whole crew of the thing. We kind of talked over that a little bit. We meet Bernard. We meet this lady that is the tactical creator, the fucking arrogant douchebag of the show that's gonna go, yeah, everything you're doing is wrong. You're messing with powers you don't understand. Either whatever. We have that lady on the show. And the motivation, let's see. Let's go to number 8 here. And we got Johnny with us right here, I see. Let's see this. Number 8. What do you got to say, number 8?
Looks like Hector's been this way.
Any idea how much longer it's going to take? My wife doesn't want to be up here after.
Oh, yeah, this is the guy and his wife going up into the woods. So ultimately, we see the day start again, and then we see 2 other people go up, and where the sheriff goes, you want to come with me? They decide to go. And they go up, and another one of the animatronics has a little bit of a problem.
We know he's up in these hills somewhere. He's gonna put up one hell of a fight when we.
Sheriff?
Something is wrong with it. I want to head back to town. Now.
Now, it ended up being a problem again with its circuit from the update. So this, again, eventually they just decide that the update is, this is the wrong update. Oh, so I'm just flipping through some of these. Oh, here it is. So we get our evil talk as well.
Sunshine before turning in.
This is our evil talk.
So when do you get to rotate home again?
I'm fucking evil. I'm fucking evil
You're
too.
this bad at writing small talk. How the fuck did you get your job?
How the fuck are you so evil?
Get to the point.
Fuck you, you're
I
evil.
Apologize if I came across as aggressive. And I wanted to talk to you about the update.
It would make sense because she doesn't seem human. Someone's saying that they think this girl might be an android programmed to be on the inside of some sort. I wouldn't doubt it. She comes off. There's something strange about her character.
The problem's been resolved.
There should never have been an update in the first place. Ford and Bernard keep making the things more lifelike. But does anyone truly want that? Do you want to think that your husband is really fucking that beautiful girl, or that you really just shot someone? This place works because the guests know the hosts aren't real.
So what exactly are you suggesting?
Stop the updates altogether.
Stop them.
Maybe even roll them back a bit. Make the hosts more manageable.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck that. Eat shit. So no, and then he has to go to tell Ford. He has to go tell Anthony Hopkins what's up. He's like, yo, Anthony Hopkins.
You haven't yet isolated the boy. It sounds like you, Bernard.
Tell me. Say it.
Unless, of course, you have, and are simply embarrassed by the result.
So Bernard looks at Anthony Hopkins like he's a fucking god.
Sir.
Yeah, it's causing problems.
Reveries. It has some mistakes. It's the word you're too embarrassed to use. You ought not to be a product of a trillion of them. The evolution forged the entirety of sentient life on this planet.
Like, seriously, can Anthony Hopkins just read to me at night and tell me anything he wants me to tell me while I touch myself in inappropriate ways? Is that okay? That's no problem with that. I don't think there's a problem with that.
Only one tool. Mistake. I flattered myself.
Johnny.
A disciplined approach here. I suppose so.
I only half did it.
It is a gift of natural selection as well. Indeed it is. But of course, we've managed to slip evolution's leash now, haven't we? We can cure any disease, keep even the weakest of us alive, and one fine day, perhaps we shall even resurrect the dead.
That's the point where we were talking about earlier, where Anthony Hopkins basically gives us the biggest clue to when we are or how far in the future we are, where he says that we've cured all disease here. So people are bored.
Call forth Lazarus from this cave. Do you know what that means? It means that we are done.
Ooh. So that is a lot of what we're dealing with in the show. Some intense fucking shit. So here we get to another malfunction where we have some dude.
That's how much blood I left in you.
Oh no, this is the man in black. The man in black kills the dealer of the gambling establishment, cuts his head off, and discovers some map or something in his head. There's something weird going on there, and he puts it on as a trophy on his horse that he cut off a guy's head. I'm not sure what's going on with that. We'll talk about that a little bit later when we get Johnny in here. So then we get Daddy starting to go a little crazy because he finds a picture. Her father, Dolores' father, finds a picture of a girl in Times Square, and it sets his brain off weird. Sends him off in friggin' on a weird tangent of understanding, either tapping into old lives or possibly seeing our first sign of artificial intelligence here, or it was always in Dolores. Someone in the chat asked that in a second, and that'll be one of the first questions I think when I bring Johnny in here that we're going to talk about. Has Dolores known the whole time when she spots that fly? Has she been playing a game this whole time? And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the father sort of has an uncovering of some sorts here. No music. Don't play me amazing music. I want to hear.
You've been out here all night?
Here we go.
Question. A question you're not supposed to ask.
Is a question he's not supposed to ask. He shows her the picture. She says, "Daddy, I see nothing." Then we get our action time. I can't play too much of this because I don't want to get flagged, but we get our action segment where everyone goes into town. We get the Truman Show kind of like thing with with everyone from up above watching what's going on as the town gets exploited to death. The writer's excited that his favorite awesome monologue is going to get spoken, and the guests end up screwing it all up at the end. It's a good action set piece that's in the episode, and a good surprise ending with the guests that we saw earlier ending the whole simulation. And I like it. The music was incredible. Let me see if I can play 2 seconds of it without being flagged. One of the best versions of Painted Black I've ever heard. One of my favorite Rolling Stones songs. So I think it's used exceptionally well in that moment as we see the outlaws come into town and have this big, huge thing going back and forth. We have an interaction between Hector and the main prostitute, who is an actress I recognize. I never watched True Blood, but I think she was on True Blood. So they're probably going to be bigger characters as we see and progress on in the series. So then we get this scene.
Preliminary results.
Most of them are checking out fine.
This is the end of our episode.
We had one who definitely was not.
Playing video games means the perspective of a view of, if we remove, say, 200 NPCs in Witcher 3, you would notice. Exactly. Keep that down because of the music. I don't want to. This music's so fucking awesome.
You bring her back online.
Okay, here we go. Here's our end segment where we get the fake cries. Faker! Faker!
No emotional laughter.
Liar!
All right, sweetheart. Can you hear me?
Evil.
Yes.
Shift. Oh, you can hear me talking to the television.
I'm not feeling quite myself.
What's the accent? Do you know where you are?
I'm in a dream.
That's exactly where she is.
You're in a dream. A dream that could determine your life. Do you want to wake up from this dream, Dolores?
Yes. I'm terrified.
Nothing to be afraid of. As long as you answer my questions correctly, you understand?
Yes.
Good. First, have you ever questioned the nature of your reality?
No.
Is anyone around you?
Whether she was really fucked up or not, the way that the actress plays this and the look she has on her face while delivering these lines is unbelievable. One of my favorite looks of an actor in a long time. She just gets this look on her face like, I am going to kill you. Like she's going to go Terminator on these fuckers. I don't know if I'm perceiving that or that's my projections, but I felt it in this moment. She remembers it all.
The bridge needs to be put down.
Okay,
That's the policy.
Then
Would it not be best
fuck
for us
me
to discover
in my
why
fuck.
first?
Fuck me in my fuck. We get to this amazing scene with Anthony Hopkins and this guy that I don't know the actor's name, and so I'm sorry I'm not giving him credit. The guy who played her father in the first half, he looks a little bit like Jorah Mormont to me a little bit, but whatever eye sequences that they were, whatever context they had on the actor's eyes, it just all fucking worked here. And Anthony Hopkins just sitting there playing slightly scared but not really concerned the whole time. The way Hopkins played this killed this scene for me. This was my favorite scene of the entire episode because just the way Hopkins plays this.
When we are born, we cry, we'll come to this great stage of
fuck.
That is enough.
Eli, I was saying that they should stop at different HBO shows, stop in Prison Land and have it be Oz.
Yes. Access that, please.
Access it more. More. So of course I'm talking.
Who is Peter Abernathy?
Here we go.
Mr. Abernathy, what are your drives?
It's funny when you're recording something and watching it live, the visuals take up some of the space. You don't realize how much time goes in between time. But if I have to shut my fucking yapper for 2 fucking seconds to let the scene play out while we're having the tension build up in the recording, it feels like a mile to me. I'm like, oh my God, talk already, Anthony Hopkins. This fucking audio clip sucks.
Tend to my herd. Look after my wife.
Peter Abernathy, currently playing Dolores' father. Thank you, Ren.
Your final drive? My daughter Dolores, of course. I must protect Dolores. I am who I am because of her, and well, I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it any.
And then it skips here for a second, though.
I have to protect her. I have to help her. She's got to get out. Mr. Abernathy, that's enough.
Hopkins again plays it so straight through all this, and this actor, fucking Peter Abernathy, just fucking kills it in this scene. And again, I think you come up to those who are around you sometimes, especially with acting and performing. If you play with better musicians, you play better. If you have actors that are better than you or whatever, and I'm not saying I'm saying Anthony Hopkins is a better actor than he is. But because Anthony Hopkins is there, it brings his A game up. I'm not saying this guy's bad. I'm just saying I can say confidently that probably Anthony Hopkins is a little bit better just because of experience. But I think this guy brings it so hard. You wake up in the morning, you go, wait a second, what am I doing today? You mean I'm only in one episode. I mean, he's probably in other episodes. But I'm only in one episode, and I get to do a scene with Anthony Hopkins? Yes! Sign me the fuck up.
Miles beyond the glitch here.
And Johnny said in the chat, he's right. Anthony was in chill mode. Peter ran with all this. Yeah, it really is. I'm giving Anthony Hopkins too much credit in this moment when I should be giving some to Peter. More to Peter for the amazing performance in driving this scene. Johnny, absolutely right. Oh yeah, this is my recorder stopped. The HBO Go froze right in the middle of this scene. I was like, what the fuck's going on? Don't do this to me.
Rose,
Here we go.
Is a rose. You say rose.
What is your itinerary?
To meet my maker.
Creepy as fuck all.
Oh, you know what? And what you want to say to your maker?
I'm most mechanical and dirty.
Grabs you.
I shall have such revenges on you. Both. The things I will do. What they are, yet I know not. But they will be the terrors of the earth.
Fuck me!
You don't know what you are, do you?
You're in the jungle, baby.
You're in a prison of your own sins.
Attack him.
Turn it off.
So that is that scene, and then we ultimately at the end of the episode see him get marched into a room with tons of naked people. No, with an army of naked people. All the offline models of the ones that have gone bad, so to speak. They just put them in an old warehouse. They get referred to earlier in the episode as livestock. In no way, anyway, anyhow, is later in the season all those fucking monsters coming alive. Monsters. All those creatures coming alive and destroying everybody. I don't think that's a chance of that happening. No way, no how.
Yes. From a horror narrative called The Dinner Party. He was leader of a group of cultists out in the desert who turned cannibal.
Like to quote Shakespeare.
And they make it seem in that moment, I forgot to play the end there, but Hopkins immediately is not concerned at all. He's so chill, as Johnny and a couple other people in the chat were saying. He's just so chill about it all. And they go to him and he's like, yeah, his third life ago was a crazy person in the woods that quoted Shakespeare. So no big whoop. See you later. And just walks out like nothing happened. Everyone, the audience watching, or at least I was watching, like, and Anthony Hopkins is just like, yeah, no big whoop. Fuck that. I smelled a vagina once, in a movie. It tasted like father beans, like he's just so fucking chill about it all. And then we go back to Dolores, who gives a speech, and we get her final.
These violent delights have violent ends.
And the violent delights, violent ends thing, I view that as a threat, as a way of she is issuing the machine's terms here to the people, telling them basically these violent desires that you all have are just going to lead to a violent end. Critch has said it a bunch of times in the chat. They're seeing the worst sides of us, and this is what they're going to be reacting to.
No, I don't think so.
Have you ever lied to us?
No.
Liar.
Last question, Dolores.
Liar. You fucking liar.
Have you ever heard a living thing?
Here we go.
No.
And they even make sure they hammer this in a little bit more earlier in the episode too, when I think it's Bernard says about one of the other ones that has had a breakdown. It literally couldn't hurt a fly. And we've seen several times in the episode where a fly lands on someone's face and they don't even react to it because they cannot. Their directive is they can't hurt any living thing. So that's why the end of this episode's so intense, so to speak, an awakening of sorts.
Of course not.
Not old. And this is where we also find out that old Dolores, I'm not going to play the rest of that scene. We find out that old Dolores is the oldest host that they have. They've recreated her so many times that she's practically brand new. She's been there longer than anybody. So it would make sense if one of them has already developed some sort of intelligence and understanding and is the best liar of them all, it would be Dolores. Our episode ends with a fly flying on her face and her killing the fucking fly smack as the episode ends, able to kill a living thing. And that is our first episode of Westworld. Wow, what an episode. Sorry to make you wait, but I'm going to bring in my good buddy, Johnny the Irish Wildling. I've done it twice right now and not called you by your previous name before you escaped beyond the wall and left your heritage behind. You left your wolf-like heritage behind and going beyond the wall. Johnny, I know, please definitely also check out Johnny's review on his channel of this episode. But if you want to give some initial thoughts, what you thought about the episode, and shut me up for a little while here, Johnny.
No, I'm here to listen to you go on, Phil, to be honest.
Oh, let's not do that. Let's not play this game again.
Yeah, all right. We'll do that later in a heterosexual way.
Of course.
I am completely new and fresh to this show. I heard about it a month ago. So when I'm watching it, I'm literally, know the way when you read the Game of Thrones books and then you watch the show and then you have the show watchers. I'm essentially just a show watcher with this series. Like, I'm clueless. I enjoyed the shit out of it. I gave it 8 out of 10. It's like Bicentennial Man meets fucking Mortal Kombat, except more kind of psychological horror, kind of. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I was so behind at the ending, though. If you see me reaction, I feel like a dickhead now hearing all the comments in the comment section, and the way you break it down. I only seen it once, reacted to it, and then was like, that was good. And now I'm gonna have to rewatch it after this, like, because when she killed the fly, I was like, is that the anomaly? Because they went on the whole time saying one shift, one change. I was like, is that the change? She killed the fly, and then I didn't really think of the consequences of it. Like, she killed. I was like, oh, that's that's a big deal.
Exactly. She's finally able to do it. She's finally able to cross that border, because she do it the whole time, and she was just playing a fucking game the whole time with them. And she's just knows when to talk the talk and when to walk the walk. It's absolutely, Johnny. Great start to the series. I'm with you that I think part of why I enjoy it is that I didn't know anything about it. Because I guess this series has been something that's supposed to have been out for a year. It's something that's been HBO is for a lot of people. They think that HBO is trying to push this to be the next Game of Thrones, like all this stuff. I was clueless about it until, thankfully, some of the people in the comment section of the videos were like, Phil, you should check out Westworld. It was really good. So, I mean, that's how I heard about it. I didn't know shit about it either. I didn't know about the 1973 movie or anything like that. So I'm like you. I'm completely ignorant going into that. And I wonder if that's better for us, if we're going to enjoy this more because we know dick shit about what's going on here and we're new to the concept. But yeah, I definitely like the show a lot. 8 out of 10. I give it maybe 8.5. I'd be right there with you, like 8.5 out of 10, something like that. Really fun show. And Sylvia says, love Johnny's accent. Johnny's voice makes me want to drink Guinness, says someone in the live chat. They already have outdone the movie in terms of plot, says Critch. Okay, Johnny, this is a big question from the live chat. I'm curious what your thoughts are. What do you make of Ed Helms and what his desires are in the show? Do you think he's a human that's in there just kind of trying to undercover it all? What's your make on Ed Helms' character?
Wait, which one is Ed Helms? I'm still on the stage.
The man in black.
Oh, that's Ed Harris, is it? That dude. Is that who I'm getting mixed up? Or Ed Helms? Is he the one who scalped the dude at the end, the card player at the end?
Yes, and I feel like an idiot because I think I called him Ed Helms several times in the episode, and that's a different actor. But you're right, it's Ed Harris.
You fucked me there. You did that on purpose, y'all. He does this to me, man. I swear to God.
I was fucking with Johnny. I know it's a little it's early or late for him, so he hasn't quite had his morning coffee, which is Guinness. So I was a little
Oh, that's racist. See, just because Phil's a Jew, he thinks he can just, pick on leprechauns. It's like, fuck. Are you programmed that way, Phil, yeah?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
To answer you seriously, though, I thought he was a human, and then he's probably like a politician in real life. And how long can he stay in there? Because he was in there like a few days. He was in there that whole episode, and a few days had passed. So it was like, did he have a certain limit where it's like, we pay for 4 days to be in here, and then they go in and then take them out after the 4 days? Like, how does that work?
And I also wonder how much they know where these guys are, like where your guests are in the situations. Like, shouldn't they be able to follow him, and aren't they aware of all the bullshit he's doing that causing a rift to the whole situation? He cut off one of their heads. It seems like he's an anomaly of even a guest and stuff, but he's been going there for 30 years. He hasn't been in there 30 years because he said it's good to be back. So Or again, I'm starting to think Eli might be onto something, that he might just be a weird program anomaly. And he might just be I keep mentioning Agent Smith, but an Agent Smith, Siler at the beginning of Heroes, someone that's out there murdering other ones like himself to just break down the whole system because he knows how fucked it is and he wants to bring it all down or something like that, and just playing his own game of some sort. I think he is going to be Ed Harris. I think he is going to be the most interesting aspect of the series for me going forward, because he's the one that captured me. He was my favorite character. Everything to do with him was really him and Anthony Hopkins in the building of the park. But I like stuff like that. I like the concept of where could this go? What fucking magic, fucking Disney magic bullshit's going on in this situation? Chantel Hayes could this be a post-apocalyptic world, and this is a way to curb the violence and base desires so they don't have to do this to real people? What do you think about that, Johnny?
That'd be like an 18-plus version of the Truman Show, wouldn't it? The end and Jim Carrey, just good afternoon, good evening, get that show over. Yeah, it's a great concept. I think the whole battle I think it is just rich people. I think the world has evolved. You pointed that out, 30 years, an Agent Smith anomaly program. And see, y'all, this is the thing when you come in with people who are in depth with the shit, you fuck me over, because I'm like, oh yeah. I didn't think about that. I personally think, I think it is what it is, and the main concept is just the humans and the robots, and the robots breaking out eventually in season 2 or 3, and then you'll see the rest of the world. I think the rest of the world is fine. As you pointed out, we're that superior. We've cured all disease. So it's like, let's make a realistic, a hologram world, whatever the fuck, and indulge our biggest fantasies, play God. I think it is what it's shown us. And sorry, just the Ed Harris thing, or Ed Helm, as Phil's bullshit side likes to call him. Just on that, I think his thing was he scalped that robot. I think he's a human, and I think he scalped that robot. I think he wants to probably engineer these robots for him as a way to take over the world outside. It seemed like he was searching for that higher purpose. Like either there was a map in that head, or there was a chip, because he had that with him. So that's
I like where your head's going on with that, where he wants to formulate this game on his own so he can create his own games, more programs. He wants to figure out how it's all done and manipulate the system in his own way, tack into it and have it suit his own desires, make it more dangerous. Maybe he's someone that gets off on the challenge and he wants to turn off the safeguards and make it so that the hosts can kill people because he wants to feel like he's in it for a sport. It's like that movie, the Michael Douglas movie, I know it's a book too, but where he wants to hunt man, and I'm going to hunt the biggest sport, man. And the game, I think it's called, or something like that, where he just wants to, and I think that might be a good use for his character, where while everyone else is trying to handle some other business, reprogramming and doing all that sort of shit, Ed Harris's character, the Man in Black, is able to destroy the safeguards, and then they think everything's safe. They don't, maybe they don't realize it, and then the safeguards are gone, and then suddenly they can hurt him. But then I question the whole thing at the end when she kills the fly. Have the safeguards do they not really exist in the first place? Have the machines already figured out a way around that, and they're all pretending by the use of Dolores' stuff? Again, we're playing tinfoil hattie here a little bit, but that's what I like about it. And I also want to point out, again, this is written by Jonathan Nolan, the same guy that helped write all those Christopher Nolan movies. So there is that aspect of it too, because I agree with Johnny. I think some aspect of it is going to be what it seems. I think there is going to be, and I feel comfortable with them exploring it a little bit of the depth too, because I think that's what the Nolans do well. They take simple things and then they explore it, but it always stays pretty simple to what you see. It's just looks in things a little deeper, like with the things going backwards, or whatever, Insomnia, or things like that. It's a simple yet deeper concept.
No, spot on. And on top of that, like you said, but like Phil, you could have been joking when you said Jorah Mormont. Yeah, we'll just call him that just for sake of it. Yeah, when Jorah Mormont got put down at the end, like, do you think he's gone for good? Because they can do this. Like, whatever way this season ends, they can go to season 2, and then Dolores could be reprogrammed, and then she could be the main antagonist. You know, like you have a lot of context to work with.
Before I forget, because you mentioned that, I think we'll definitely see him again. That was too good of a performance. And that was too much of a standout moment not to see Jorah again. Yeah, because I don't know his name, so we're gonna call him Jorah for the remainder of this series. He's known as Jorah. So, but my question to you, Johnny, is: I see where you're going. Do you think our not spinoff, our cliffhanger at the end of the season, our thing we got left off on, is the start of the robot uprising? Or do you think the robot uprising will happen this season? What else can they do for 10 episodes that we have here without having the uprising start? That's my only thing. Are they assuming this show cost a fuck ton to make? I don't know if they assume that they're going to get a second season. I think we might get our uprising by episode 5. And that they're going to fast track this a little bit. But I don't know. I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Well, what I read, I think it was over 500 million went into this, and it's the second. I know it's just under Game of Thrones for the most money they've put into a show, and they have the actual story wrote. Like, that's what I love about it. Is the actual whole story is wrote, so nothing will change. I love that. I'm like, sweet. So it's either good or it's bad. Either way, you have your script. You're not going to change for fans. Like, they have wrote 5 seasons, Phil. So that's it. That's what they said. They said we're looking for 5 years, and then it's ended. Like, so they do have their end game. I think it's going to go straight into the robot world. I think this whole season is going to be figuring out who's the molds and who's not. I think that woman, the board of management. I'm just going to call her social justice ice vagina. No, that's too long. Ice vagina. You know that cunty woman who was cool. That's ice vagina, yeah?
That's ice vagina. When you say that, I'm thinking about a giant ice dragon with a vagina for whatever reason.
Don't get on that Game of Thrones too.
No. That's different podcast, man. Glad they didn't make us wait 2 seasons to find out what he whispered. He might have done something other than rape her in that barn. What the fuck are we still making machines when the entertainment industry is clearly against it? Do you guys think Ed Harris planted that picture? Ooh, very interesting. I think someone might have and it makes sense that if from what we saw, that if anyone planted that picture, it was Ed Harris. Maybe that was Ed Harris's daughter that died and he decided to jump into I might be oversimplifying it in a lame sort of melodramatic way, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is either somebody planted that to start the process. I also wouldn't be surprised if it was just someone dropped it, because I wonder what kind of rules that they have, what you can't bring in there and what you can bring in there. Do they do a sweep and bring out on any modern things? Can you bring whatever the equivalent of a cell phone is in that time period into Westworld with you? Or do you have to keep period specific stuff and someone smuggled a picture in? It's really interesting to think that, but I wouldn't doubt if Ed Harris planted that. What do you think, Johnny?
That's a genius concept. Whoever said that, man, that's brilliant. Ed Harris dropped that. Maybe he took her into the barn and fucked around with her. Like, it led to rape, but maybe he started fucking around with her programming. Because remember then, even the little kid, the little black lad, he said to her, like, are you one of them? You're not real. And she kind of reacted to that. Like, she
freaked out. You're right, dude. She freaked out in that moment. People say maybe it's like a violence. And the E's in the live chat, Eli and E. Martinez, both kind of came up with that thought at the same time. Give them all the credit. Maybe Dolores planted the picture in Ninja Granny. I mean, again, Ed Harris could have fucked with her in that barn. Ren said that too. We don't know what Ed Harris actually did in that barn with her. He could have been planting some sort of virus inside of her, inside her brain to upload to the Borg collective or something. And because she's the oldest one, it downloads to the Borg, like the Borg queen, to the rest of the collective. Question: did you notice the programmer whispered something to Jorah's character before he put him in cold storage? I assumed I'd have to slow it down to try to read the lips, but I assumed he said that whole thing like walk over there and then take a dream with eternal slumber without dreams or something. Whatever that saying that they said a couple times, that their shut off button. Data has one too on Star Trek that Riker used in one episode where he whispers to Data and Data passes out. All androids have it. That's made from Sung in the 21st century, on Enterprise D, but that's a different story altogether. But yeah, they have kill switches of some sort, so they're programmed through verbal cues We see that in a couple of times in a couple of situations. So I think all he whispered to him in that moment was, go the fuck over there and shut the fuck off, basically. Ed killed Dad, and the following day, Dad was questioning this photo. He raped Dolores, and the next day she has the ability to lie. I think Ed's a virus, says Quixote. Great comment. Great to see you live, Quixote. One of the best people out there. Sylvia says, think Harris did something to Dolores in the barn to start to become self-aware like him. Ragnar Dio says, HBO is willing to spend lots of money for their shows, unlike other TV networkers. Almighty cunts. I think there will be politics, corporate intrigue, android rebellion, but more importantly, human replacement, like the changelings taking over of humans. 10 episodes, 500 millions, not worth it in my money. I'm going to paraphrase for Ren. HBO should be spending that money on direwolves, goddammit, and fucking armies of the dead. You can spend $500 million, but you can't give HBO some money for some fucking direwolves? Sorry.
You're doing it.
Where the fuck was Ghost, Johnny? I'm sorry. You're right, Johnny. I'm doing it. Because like all of us, she wanted the experience. He's been raping her for years, though. I don't know if it's 5 million is correct. I've heard a little less than one season of Thrones, which is 4 million an episode. I bet he wouldn't need to whisper that command. It looks suspicious to me, says Icy. So we got a lot of fun stuff having from the live chat. This show is definitely creating a lot of fucking thoughts. Are you going to be watching it every week, Johnny?
100%. I like it. Like, I love how open even Phil is and everybody in the comment section. It's like, we're very fond of it, but you are going to critique certain little parts, so we're not wearing flowery glasses watching it. I love that. I'm the same. I like it, man. I didn't expect it to be anything great, and I came away pleasantly surprised, if that makes sense. It's like meeting an ugly prostitute, and then you had a decent orgasm. You're like, yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
sorry.
And she ends up being a lot nicer. She makes you a meal afterwards and cooks your pizza, tucks you in, gives you. Yeah, it makes it even that more special because I, like Sam was saying in the live chat, I didn't know anything going into it. I, by nature, am not a fan of Westerns. It's just not my favorite genre. My favorite Westerns are more cheesy, like Westerns, like Young Guns or something cheesy, or I've loved Blazing Saddles. But I mean, traditional Westerns, I'm not a huge fan of. It's just not my favorite genre. Whatever. Some people don't like mafia movies. Some people don't like whatever. So going into it, I had no clue what to expect. I am a sci-fi fan. I'm a Star Trek geek. Look what's fucking behind me, for fuck's sake. So going into this, I didn't know what to expect. And I went into it completely ignorant. And I was hugely fucking surprised. And I was really interested in it. It's not perfect. It could go in a really horrible... There's many ways that this series could ruin itself. There's many fucking ways, and all of them happened on Lost or X-Files or something like that. There's the blueprint out there on how shows like this, not that it's exactly like this, or movies that are like concepts similar to this, that fuck it up. That being said, I keep mentioning it over and over again. There are hundreds of Star Trek stories, whether they be episodes dealing on Voyager, dealing with the Doctor, dealing with Data on Star Trek, with discovering humanity, and other sci-fi means that have done concepts like this very interestingly, that they can work off of a lot of really awesome stuff. Maybe we might not see anything that we've never seen before, but we can see something really awesome with this series. And that's really what I'm hoping about it.
And on top of that, Phil, as well, the way you constantly let your trackie out is, can we get a count on this podcast with Phil as he's reviewing this 58, whole series?
58.
It's going to do a count on how many times you bring Star Trek comparisons. 58.
Johnny, every time I say it, you're going to hear this sound. Sorry, keep going. Sorry, buddy.
I was going to just say, on top of that, is seeing as you're bringing Star Trek in, but why don't you bring the actor who played Prince Doran, dare I say his name, from Game of Thrones? Why don't you bring him in and actually give him dialogue and in-depth character? Seems like that's the place for him.
Maybe HBO will feel bad for the treatment of him, as you've seen in interviews like that. I'd love them to see them bring people like Brent Spiner and Alexander Siddig and other people like that onto the show. I definitely want to see Andrew Robinson make an appearance. TV's Garrick from Deep Space Nine would be a great actor to be on a show like this. I could see him doing extremely well playing the subtext of a scene, which is what I think Rachel Dolores' character did so well, playing the subtext. And you're right. I'm not trying to, says, Phil, let's not talk about ruining the show. Too soon, you whiny bastard. I'm adding whiny bastard. I can't wait to see dragons fuck up King's Landing. Hey, Pete, great to see you. You are late. We're wrapping up towards the end, but you can always rewind, and this won't be the only time I talk about this episode. And anytime Johnny's around, I'll definitely invite him to join me this season to talk about this episode. I'm not sure if I'm going to be talking about it every week, but I'm indirectly, I always do this shit on the air, but I'm indirectly inviting Johnny to cover this show a little bit with me and come on at least for a little segment when I do these.
Most humbled fellas.
So whenever I do these, Johnny, just pop in the live chat and I'll insta invite you. So if you happen to be around when I do them, you got an open door policy to come on in and come all over this podcast, my friend. So I think Siddig is salty with HBO because there's treatment on Game of Thrones. Does anyone have any final questions here in the live chat about this series, about the premiere episode of this before Johnny and I call it a wrap up? Johnny, you want to tell anybody about where they can find you if they want to see more of your fucking shit, buddy?
Oh yeah, if you're bored and none of the good YouTubers are on, just look for Johnny the Irish Wilding, and then maybe you'll wear a condom so you don't have a specimen like myself running around in a few years.
Yes, Johnny is known.
Thanks for that.
Oh, no problem. Johnny is known to impregnate people during the podcast. So don't do it. He does it through his words. He has so much dripping sexual machismo coming off of every part of his body that those odors, what do they call it when the smell, when people are affected by the smell and stuff, it's pheromones. Those pheromones travel all the way through the computer speakers and infect you with all kidding aside, Johnny's one of the good, awesome dudes, one of the real guys out there. So fucking definitely check out Johnny if you can. Okay, that's enough licking of kneecaps for this podcast. Johnny's awesome. Deal with it.
No, continue, man. I'm liking this segment. Can we just make this a segment now? Yeah.
I think at the end of every one of these that we do, I'll make it the Johnny ass licking part of the show. But no, Johnny is awesome. Very funny shit. Can't say enough. Awesome.
Bill is pregnant as we speak.
I am. His pheromones. People don't know that you can get that sperm can fly through pheromones type things through computer speakers. Johnny's proof of that. I'm birthing our first bastard child. It's gonna be like Alien or like that part in Spaceballs at the end of Spaceballs when the alien pops out of the dude's stomach. He's like, oh no, not again. Dr. Sam Beckett returned home. He did. Educated Monkey, perhaps early on. It was a thrill, but he's talking more about that. Phil, do you like it? I like it. Yeah, I need weekly wrap-ups on the show, maybe on Mondays or on Tuesdays. I got to see what the schedule is like. We're not going to be able to do it on Sundays because of the Walking Dead stuff, but probably maybe Mondays or Tuesdays around this time or evenings, I might be doing weekly recaps of the show. I'll see how much I like episode 2 if it inspires me to come out. My rule is if I am inspired to do the first 3 episodes of something, I'll do a whole season. So I'm going to see how I feel for the next 2 episodes. If I'm a betting man, I'm going to say we're going to cover this whole season of this episode, and you're going to get 10 podcasts out of it one way or another. But maybe you might get certain shows that we're going to cover 2 episodes this pod. Like I might not be able to get to it certain weeks and then cover a couple of episodes here and there. But like I said, I like the show enough to watch it, so I'm obviously liking enough to podcast about it. What would you do in Westworld? The first thing I would do, I don't think I'd get off on killing someone. I think it would all be sexual weird stuff. I think it would be I'd live in that hooker. I'd probably cheat in cards, like play that sort of stuff, cheat and gambling, get drunk all the time. I mean, in video games, no, I'm lying. If I thought about it like a video game, I always play the evil route and get Grand Theft Auto, or in Knights of the Old Republic, I'm always an evil Jedi. So if I'm being straight honest and I really think about it without bullshitting myself, I'd probably be one of those sick fucks in there. I'd be like one of those frat dude guys.
You killed Cart in Knights of the Old Republic.
I did.
Prick.
I did kill him.
Oh my God.
I totally killed that dude was shit talking me the whole time. I'm fucking revving. Fuck Knights of the Old Republic, spoiler, a billion years later. Sorry, everybody. I fucking am the Lord. I'm powerful. And that pussy bitch Karth talks shit to me the whole time. Kill him as quickly as I fucking could, Johnny.
As soon as you heard you were revving in that, did you just say, fuck that? I can see that. That's hilarious. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I was a total piece of shit, Johnny. The more you get to know me, the more of a piece of shit I am. Eli says, do you think that we'll see medieval and Roman world like the original movie? I maybe in future seasons. I could see that something that they add in future seasons. And I know someone said this in a podcast. I think Josh Wiggler said this in the post-show recaps podcast. So I'm stealing his comment, but he said, I'd love to see the whole cast of Rome make a reunion for Rome World if they decide to do that. But I would like to see them do that, but I think they're really going to explore the Westworld thing for a while, for as much as they can do that. And I don't think it'll be interesting to see if they explore those other worlds. What would I do in Westworld? Phil, you're giving birth to the prince that was promised. And Phil, you would be the Richard Benjamin character. Side note, Phil is not a piece of shit. He's awesome. Oh, thank you. Wait, no, Phil is really a piece of shit. Ignore my last comment. Phil, everybody, Johnny, thank you so much for joining me. If you guys haven't already and you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Join us for all sorts of recaps and stuff this season. We'll be coming back with The Walking Dead, Vikings, Better Call Saul, a couple of other shows, some other live viewing watches of some movies. We have the Rocky Horror live watch coming up with Stephanie and I, and maybe Joe as well, if he has the night off of work. So lots of fun stuff coming up on the channel. Please subscribe there. You can join the Discord group where you can keep in touch with everybody, or join the Google Plus group to stay in touch with everybody. You can find all the links to that in the description box below. Also, if you haven't and you want to try Audible out, you can try it for 30 days with the free code Audible trial backslash, I tried to say, issues. I feel like such a tool doing an advertisement, but I'm doing it anyways. Go fuck me. And sign up for a free audiobook, get the Game of Thrones or some shit like that, and check it out for 30 days. If you don't like it, whatever, no charge, but it helps us out. So thank you so much for all that shit. Johnny, thank you for joining me with me, buddy. We'll talk to you next time we talk about this shit. And like I said, if you're around, you're always welcome to join us. If not, no worries, no pressure. Just we'll definitely see you later in the season on these things, buddy. Talk to you soon.
I know, Phil, I will try and get in every time when it's possible for the two of us. Kind of just say a humble thanks to Phil. He's over 10k subscribers, and he just picks. I'm literally like anybody else that just comments and throws out the shit. I'm sucking dick. I mean, fuck off, Phil. You know what Phil would do? Yeah, you know what Phil would fucking do if he was in Westworld? He'd ask him to make a robot of himself so he could go fuck himself.
Yes. I'd be like, do you ever see the Futurama movie where Fry has sex with himself? I would do nasty things to myself, Johnny.
It's hard to be nice with Phil, man. He just burns you, he does. When you try and get close to Phil's heart, he just sticks the nails in, he does.
Oh, and we also have our buddy Devin in the live chat. Devin, full side butthole for this one. Like the show. Great to see you, buddy. Lots of love to Devin, and thank you as always to him for all his support for me, because that's how it works, dude. You can say that about me, but Devin's the same way for someone like me. He didn't have to help me out and reach out to me, and he reached out to me and helped me out. So fucking it's not a horrible Kevin Spacey movie, but you help out real fucks, and you're a real fuck, Johnny the Irish Wildling. Great to see you, buddy, and great to see Devin. Great to see everyone in the live chat. Let's make a Phil world. I want a live hologram where everyone plays with weird parts of my body and can do anything they want to me. I'm not against that. I'm definitely not against that full side butthole. All you guys, thank you so much, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Hashtag Ed Helms.
Yeah, hashtag is Ed Helms on the show. Later, everybody. I realized the music's been muted that whole time. Now, for whatever it's worth, I bet that all makes a lot more sense if you think that there was music playing during that. But it's probably funnier without it.